please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? 2 weeks ago I made a video titled Bonus Round Added Twitter Bans. It did reasonably well because of one of the people on the thumbnail, somebody I genuinely didn't know anything about. What had happened was they'd made some accusations at another creator called Legal Eagle, and those accusations were baseless. Legal Eagle accepted the apology from Iilluminaughtii. This is the creator we're now going to be speaking of. I still don't really know much about Iilluminaughtii, and people very kindly in the comments of that video told me this rabbit hole goes a lot further than I believe, and is a lot more controversial. Well, 2 weeks have passed, and I thought perhaps now would be a good time to have a look at this creator, perhaps try and understand why they're so controversial, and see whether or not they're the type to employ some rather bad tactics. Although that is fairly obvious, the answer is yes. The thing that really made me laugh was the cease and desist. Yes, that's something. For someone as large as Iilluminaughtii, that is quite the extreme approach to a situation. A bit much, yes. Okay, I'm going to play the clip from the bonus round video first. The reason why is so you can understand what had happened then, and then we're going to look at other things related to this creator, because I think we need as much context as we can get. I noticed a bit of a back and forth between Paige Christie and Nick Diorio concerning Iilluminaughtii and a video which referenced, quite a bit, Legal Eagle. Now, the video didn't go down very well clearly because Iilluminaughtii had to put out an apology, and did so publicly on Twitter, after having said also an apology in DMs, which they showed in the apology on Twitter as well, this being the apology you see here. Lots of people have said that the apology took too long. My view when it comes to apologies is, if the apology is sincere, it doesn't matter how long it takes. So really, does any of it matter at all? When it comes to how others perceive it, the answer should be no. When it came to Paige Christie and Nick Diorio, it comes down to a bunch of responses. For example, Nick had said under Paige Christie's tweet, this tweet in question, because it's not a real apology, she's a psychotic freak and a pathological liar. Reply from Paige, why you here? And then blocked. Paige Christie did later on respond to this in video form, I guess, yeah. And I'm not going to play that, because in reality it wasn't the best of responses, to be honest. I though want to go to Legal Eagle, who had actually retweeted Iilluminaughtii's apology and said, I think this is a big misunderstanding. Perhaps great minds think alike. No one on my team is trying to copy you. Without an exhaustive review of your channel, I believe we used those 2 stars before your channel did. We've used them for 3 to 4 years. The thread in question goes on for quite some time. Nick Diorio's in there though. She's a snake. Get her. He's everywhere. Does he even make content these days? Does he? I'm actually kind of glad that the issue between Legal Eagle and Iilluminaughtii was resolved between them. Others want to throw their weight behind it and try and dissect it, that's fine. But actually the problem was between the two of them over a simple misunderstanding. One that, as you can see, has been resolved. Iilluminaughtii is a commentary YouTube channel that exposes people, schemes, creators, businesses basically, and has for a while made long-form content, doing this for a long time, achieving reasonable levels of success, over 1.5 million subscribers, but falling steadily at a rate of around 10,000 subscribers every other day. That's not even a joke, Social Blade would confirm that. The subscriber growth on there has been in the tens of thousands every month for quite some time, for years in fact. It won't be this month. It will be minus at least 150,000. Some have dubbed Iilluminaughtii to be another version of Creepshow art. Hopefully by the end of this video we'll know for certain if that is the case or not. Iilluminaughtii is very active on platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and obviously YouTube. There are some tweets we're going to look at, but we'll get to those when we have to get to those. Iilluminaughtii has maintained a consistent fanbase viewership for a long time. This in turn, if you are a creator like this, invariably leads to a level of arrogance and pride, quite unbecoming of many of us, because that same arrogance will lead you to become things like a hypocrite. and invariably leads to you being accused of abusing those around you closest, working, and maybe even your fan base itself. Maybe Blair, aka Iilluminaughtii, should have stuck with the Reddit videos. That said, the documentary style that is entirely scripted is very popular, and there are a few creators that can do it as well as Iilluminaughtii, Turkey Tom as well. These types of formats are not the easiest to make, maintain, consistently improve. Yet for a while, that is what has been the case for Iilluminaughtii, which has led to massive amounts of growth and success, all of which has been undone and is costing a lot. She is also a pioneer of the anti-MLM genre on YouTube. Anti-MLM is multi-level market. She's very much against that. It's pretty much in the description of her channel page, Twitter, and Instagram. Now, over the years, she has been called out by small creators, but for some odd reason, none of that really amounted to anything, giving off an air of untouchable, invincibleness to the channel of Iilluminaughtii. I'm not entirely sure why, to be honest. There have been many creators over the years who have gotten away with doing things that they should not have gotten away with. This, however, isn't the case necessarily with Iilluminaughtii, because those fights with small creators can end with Iilluminaughtii simply swatting them like a fly. They are to others considered a microbe, a blemish, one that can easily be pushed to her side, a privileged position granted by a golden play button. However, that ended when somebody tried to clart Legal Eagle. The cracks became full-blown fissures, which is where my, let's say, misinterpretation of events for the video clip you saw earlier apply here. So what started this was a tweet on the 20th of April 2023, and I'm having to steal the image, by the way, from Internet Anarchist? Yeah, because Archive his ass and did this. Go subscribe to them, by the way. Not at Legal Eagle editors broaching my editors to take my video style, and when they didn't give up the information, they literally copied it, and by the way, I have the messages from my editors and found an email from them too, just changed the colour from purple to blue, huh? Interesting. Obviously, you can't make such an accusation without providing citation, so Iilluminaughtii provided a form of citation in another tweet. So I went through my emails and found this just outright saying, yeah, I'm gonna do this, but if you could make it easier for me, I'd appreciate it. Included, hey Blair, I work as an editor for Legal Eagle and I was wondering if there was some After Effects plugin you guys used for things like the intro to the first NFL video, where the lighter colours appear to stick out in 3D. We could recreate it, but we figured there was probably a faster method you guys were using. Here's the video I'm talking about, just so you know what I mean. Video included, thanks, someone called Danny. She also included Discord messages, including that person called Danny. Her tweet reading also went to my Discord server to try and get more to cop the style. Danny MD, am I allowed to post a video essay I made that was inspired by Blair's channel? Or is there like no self-promotion? Also, is there any way I can talk to one of the video editors? I edit for Legal Eagle and wanted to know how they did a specific effect. Reply, you have to be level 2 to post links. That sounds like shit. Danny, and about talking to the editing team? I've emailed in the past but got no response, so I figured I'd try here. Just a small thing, your tweet gets a lot of views, but sod all interaction. That's really odd engagement levels, I'm just saying. Iilluminaughtii then also added examples from Legal Eagle's videos with the alleged copying of format style that apparently she pioneered in her own content. The last tweet from that thread, and to be honest, I wouldn't have believed any of this was trying to replicate my videos if not for the email and Discord stuff that was done preemptive to their video coming out. Talk about, can I copy your hard work? Yeah, but just make it a little different? Shake my head. I just want to make a couple points here. One, there is nothing wrong with creators or editors reaching out to each other to, let's say, help each other. And asking for help, there's nothing wrong with that. No one's going to ask me for help because my style is very easy to do and boring. But if I wanted to learn how to use After Effects, I'm going to, reach out to a creator and learn or find tutorials. It's not rocket science, but some people who use it in their own videos, it'd be easier to reach out to them. If you believe yourself above that kind of working togetherness, well, you are something. Second, the person called Danny. At this point, had it been verified that Danny was someone that worked for Legal Eagle? Because a lot of gravitas was placed on this person being legit. There is, though, something else we need to add, and that concerns another creator from long ago called Tommy C. and Iilluminaughtii being accused of copying someone else's style. We have to insert this now because there is a level of irony to it. A creator by the name of Cruel World Happy Mind reached out to Blair to express that she believed her video had been partially copied. This is the DM that was sent by Cruel World Happy Mind. Hey hun, sorry I had to. I don't know if you know of my channel. I'm a really small YouTuber who has been really inspired by the content you make. I got a few messages about the video you posted about Tyra's MLM because I've done a video on that topic. I'm really happy you're spreading more awareness on this topic, but it did low-key feel like a lot of what was said in the beginning of the video was really similar to the things I discussed regarding Tyra's MLM and her controversies, the rabies bit, etc. Coincidences happen, and I'm sure as a large YouTuber you are accused of stealing content from people you've never even heard of or seen before, so I get it if this message comes across that way. With the intention of just being open and honest, I was really hurt by the video though, because you're someone who has really inspired me and the content I made, so I wanted to reach out and hopefully have an honest but positive discussion on it all. Either way, I still appreciate the work you do. So an accusation of plagiarism-ish was levied at Iilluminaughtii. The message comes across as in good faith. It is not an attempt to attack, it is not an attempt to besmirch, it is just a case of, can we perhaps have a conversation? Because it does feel like you might have, and I'd like to understand that. Blair, though, being the super professional person that she is, decided not to respond to the message, not to reach out to the creator at all. In fact, she went on a podcast to discuss this. And I'm going to play a clip that I got from Side Effects Steena's YouTube channel. Link to the video and the channel in the pinned comment down below with all the sources.
Something I recently learned, apparently, is there is this whole anti-MLM community, right? I kind of thought I was on my own little island doing my own thing. Maybe that's my own ego. I don't watch their anti-MLM videos because I don't want to know what other people are saying, or I don't want it influencing what I do. So I purposely like have terms like that blocked from my YouTube, and that kind of stuff can't influence me. What I did have happen though recently, which this is, I'm going to try and keep it vague so I don't mention this person's channel, but it's a very small YouTuber claiming that I copied her. And okay, she claimed that I copied her video that she had done maybe a couple weeks ago, right? And the video that I had done the topic on was suggested to me multiple times from my comment section. So I just listened to my comments and I made a video because that's what people were interested in my opinion on. So she messages me and she goes, "I'm just really disappointed because you're someone I look up to and you copied my video and I want credit." Right? So I didn't know who this person was. So I went to my moderators in my Discord server and I was like, hey, I screenshotted the message, I sent it to them, and I said, do you know, is this a YouTuber? Can you guys like tell me who this is or what they're even talking about? Because I had no idea. They come back to me, it's this small channel.
Which came across as a rather interesting form of revisionist history, especially when you have the screenshot of the DM. How one interprets information is quite telling. Low comprehension appears appropriate here.
We've had an update. Blair has responded to some of the criticism she was getting about Cruel World Happy Mind, who made a critical video about her, generally complaining that Blair I can say outright lied about the contents of a DM, making her out to be a poor researcher, argumentative, accusing her of stealing, and Blair turned around and accused her of subbotting. So we got a hold of that before Cruel World Happy Mind decided to take it down under pain of Blair supposedly doing a response video, which would have been really interesting because Blair has yet to address or answer for the fact why did you completely lie about this girl? So Blair found a way to do some damage control.
Eventually, via Twitter and later retweeted by Cruel World Happy Mind, Blair put out a thread indicating they had resolved their issues. As far as Tommy C goes, it turns out Iilluminaughtii was removing his videos for using her likeness. He discussed this in a stream titled "Iilluminaughtii deleted my videos over a fat joke." I don't believe it was even his own fat joke, it was a fat joke from her own video. Not that you can show it, or I can show it in fact, because she has people going around striking if you use anything but the avatar, but then you have to be careful which avatar because apparently you're not allowed to use that either. She has become Muhammad in South Park. I'll link the stream down below because it's an hour and 32 and I can't play the whole thing, but I can play a short clip of it now.
I'll start the story from the beginning, but I'll get the big stuff out of the way first. This was my goodbye. This will play a relevant role in this story. She sent me a video of an arcade where I made a crack. I think you know where this is going. This is great working with you. It's very clear. We've grown in two different directions. I wish you nothing but the best for you, your team, your news, your family. And I wrote, huh? And then I was like, oh, okay, I don't know. Fair enough. Thanks for everything. All the best. And the part of this is the video. At that point, she had actually deleted my get to the point stuff and the 2 news episodes she did. So she didn't tell me ahead of time. She knew it was wrong because she would have told me if it was right. Now, from what I understand, she unfollowed Augie and spurged in a chat where she basically claimed it was hers, and she had every right to do it. She didn't want him coming up in court because she said she was going to sue Keemstar.
You really shouldn't do that to another person's channel. If you want to remove a video from a channel that does not belong to you, you need to ask the person who owns the channel. That's very important. If my mods ever had the permission to do that on my channel and did it without my knowledge, they wouldn't be a mod anymore. If you do it as a parting shot, it can only be seen as done in bad faith, even with the impending potential lol suit because Keemstar said you had an STD. Earlier, I played a clip of a podcast where she alluded to the fact that she did not know there was an entire community of anti-MLM creators. I don't think a single person believes that. Some people can pretend they don't know it exists, but it's like Rule 34 at this point. If the idea of it even exists in your mind, it does in fact exist somewhere online. The level of ego just from that one line alone is impressive. I don't know anything about Iilluminaughtii, but I knew about anti-MLM content. I'd heard about it. I never watch it knowingly, and I'd heard of it because of little clips here and there that appear just, like when you're in your shorts, it just scrolls, yeah? So don't try and tell me you don't know anything about something, because that is an absolute load of bollocks. Now, rather than stay in this area, I want to now go to Legal Eagle's full response before we proceed with what happened after. Handling of situation is important, and also a great way of demonstrating how clearly different 2 people are. Iilluminaughtii, attack. Legal Eagle, defense. Hey Iilluminaughtii, I think this is a big misunderstanding. Perhaps great minds think alike. No one on my team is trying to copy you. Without an exhaustive review of your channel, I believe we used those 2 styles before your channel did. We've used them for 3 to 4 years, retweeting a now deleted tweet, which was the one accusing. Plus, the 2 styles, a pseudo paper rip and a highlight, are extremely common on YouTube. The editor you're talking about didn't even design either of those 2 elements. Again, we've used them for 3 to 4 years at this point. Danny is a great and thorough editor. When he reached out via email, he was just hoping to find out what plugin your team used on a particular video, a very common practice among editors. He was not looking to copy anyone's style, so I was right. Danny is also a freelancer who makes his own videos. In the Discord, the video he referenced was about being inspired by your subject matter, not your style. He is a fan of yours. The video he was referencing was a video of his own, not a Legal Eagle video. Here's the end of the Discord chat that Danny provided to me. He was trying to edit a video of his own using only DaVinci Resolve. He was just looking for some technical help and then thanked everyone anyway. Citation provided. YouTube is great because it's collaborative and the rising tide raises all ships. My team and I always try to provide original, high-quality, informative content. We try to help others when they ask for it. There aren't any trade secrets around here. I didn't know that Danny reached out to you, but I don't fault him for doing so. If anything, I think everyone on the platform should be more open and sharing. Anyway, if you feel differently or want to hash it out, my DMs are open. And then you see Nick Diorio, "She's a snake, get her!" Iilluminaughtii got a fair amount of flack for all of this. There were many videos made about how she handled the situation and her accusations on the face of it being absolute nonsense. The editing style used isn't uncommon with documentary format anyway. It really isn't. I swear I've seen some of those styles in John Swan videos, and that would be from a few years ago as well. So eventually she on Twitter posted a DM that she had sent to Legal Eagle, closing the matter, tweeting, "To Legal Eagle, although I have apologized privately, I would like to do so now publicly. I am sorry for making editing style claims that were inaccurate. I jumped the gun, thought hastily, and should have messaged you privately to hash things out. I am sorry." The message reads, "I want to reach out and apologize for my tweet yesterday. I was quick to protect my editors when they brought this info to me, and I overreacted. I have deleted the tweets. My archive is forever. Understood. Thanks for the apology and thanks for deleting." Now there's something here that started the ball rolling that caused even more problems for Iilluminaughtii, and it's that she threw her team under the bus. So that's where we're going next. People that used to work with Blair include The Click, who had put out a 16-tweet thread discussing why they no longer work with nor associate with Iilluminaughtii, stating that I left her in her collaboration group, Sad Milk, due to similar behavior as seen in the recent events. lashing out at friends, fans, paranoia, poor anger management, to name a few. The last meeting I ever had with her, she spent half an hour screaming at me for an array of random things, calling me a bad friend, lazy, and a bunch of random accusations that didn't really have anything to do with me. Quote, "There is no way you can have the resume you claim and be this effing stupid," and so on. No one even raised their voice back at her. I left along with several other members, half the group at the time. She then spent the next few months spreading lies and half-truths about us on the Sad Milk Reddit page. I still have the screenshots. She would turn friends against you, or specifically team up with people she knew didn't like you, so she had allies against you. It's called poisoning the well, rallying mainly banned problematic community members known to be liars and conflict seekers. When people started questioning that maybe she was the reason everyone left, there was very convenient updigging of the 11 to 14-year-old videos of me. Stuff I made back when I started my channel in 2009 when I was a teenager. I publicly owned up to my past mistakes and apologized. She would still harp on about it, ignoring the fact it had already been addressed, trying to direct as much attention to it as possible, publicly stating it was a bad apology along with vague posting about it in comments on the collaboration channel, maybe in an attempt to get people to assume I had been kicked out for poor behaviour rather than leave because of her own behaviour. She also liked to pull what can only be described as a very petty act of revenge. For example, some people left comments on the collaboration channel saying, "Good, that click left." They obviously got ratioed hard as people were there for the creators. She would manually go in and delete the ratioing comments but leave the original hate comment. This was retweeted by Hi I'm Wonder with their own thread. "Forgive me for this being scattered, emotions and all, gotta love 'em." A Sad Milk thread. "After being threatened with a breach for speaking out, I can confirm that the behaviour Blair exhibits is entirely accurate here. I am aware of the bridges I burned and I remain where I am. After Sad Milk split, it was a constant negative echo chamber that I took part in. Regardless, I used to edit for Sad Milk. Blair made no effort to take direction. She made everything about herself. Sad Milk at the time was the nearest thing to a family I had, which sounds pathetic, but the content creator space is a very isolating one. Can confirm. The amount of hours I would spend online making drafts, editor tutorials for new hires, staying up trying to get some editing in if editors were short-handed. I missed Christmas with my brother and father fixing the mistake of the editor she hired, and I didn't even get a thank you, and it took me more than half a month to even get paid. Meanwhile, she delays payments to editors so she can purchase expensive clothes, visit BMW dealerships and spend hundreds on food in a day. While I do hold my beliefs towards certain matters, every month or so there was a new villain of the week, and they would one second be a normal person in our lives and the next second suddenly a hidden monster through, you guessed it, Blair's mouth. To say Sad Milk split on creative differences is a joke, it's a flat out lie. Again, I'm aware of the bridges burned, but I can confirm that call took place where she screamed, cursed and had a meltdown towards not the click and one topic at a time. It was a train wreck. It was just supposed to be a fun group project and we had become profitable, even to a small extent. Blair wanted creative lead, and we went from doing fun creative topics more in line with the Reddit we would all cover on our own channels to doing unenthusiastic view content. Blair took control and wouldn't listen to how the video should be made, and so we got hyper loud music with childlike sprites paired with adult humour, which just made being part of Sad Milk humiliating. My friends and I would watch Sad Milk and laugh, not at the content, but how awful it had become. Not due to anyone not being entertaining, but the lack of quality control. It was an editorial nightmare. It's why in part I stopped editing because my really well made content got roped into that by proxy. Blair did not care. It was hers, and anyone who dared to try to take the reins was a threat. After Click, OT, and Salty left, I did almost all the heavy lifting, which is a thankless job for being small on the internet. I tried making us schedules, I motivated Blair during another mental breakdown of hers to not delete the channel or the Discord since I actively read through the comments on both, and we had people who were mattered to. After months being behind the scenes insults towards Click and OT, it became so stale and negative. Yeah, we all took part. But after it got going on so long, it just became day after day. Blair would sit and check Click and OT's social blade, she would make fake accounts to stalk them. I'm getting Creepshow art vibes now. Really strong Creepshow art vibes. Oh, and while we're still with Wonderstruck, courtesy of The Click, during the whole debacle, Wonderstruck lost his silver play button because it was in a car that they were using with Blair, and Blair took the car back with the button inside it and then just threw it away. I mean, it's good you can pay for another one, but Blair should pay for that, to be honest. The next person to speak out was Oz Media, who also put out a rather lengthy Twitter thread that we're going to read through before we get to Illuminaughtie's response. Oh, and honourable mention to this, it's interesting. I think it's time I actually speak out on the current Twitter threads regarding Sad Milk. I cannot express how scared I am to do this, the fear I have in my gut to even speak out. However, I do feel it's important to say my piece on this subject matter, i.e., yeah, it's a mess, but the tweet threads posted by Wonder and Click and what they have stated about Sad Milk is the truth. The whole project was a mess from start to finish. I really wish I didn't need to do this, but with the flurry of DMs I've been getting, I don't have a choice. Blair, I'm sorry, but you have hurt me. I need to speak without being told by you, oh, I'm just the villain, I'm always in the wrong, or something along those lines. Words I have heard from you consistently. I want to be heard for once. I need to clear my mind and conscience after holding this in for 2 years. Forgive me, but it's what needs to be done. When looking at the whole project, it was mostly controlled and run by Blair. Her main worry was that because of her, in her words, lack of personality, she felt as though her contribution to Sad Milk needed to be the managerial bureaucracy behind the scenes to justify her presence. This led to a defensive approach when anyone would attempt to assist with the nitty-gritty behind the scenes. Blair was indeed the aggressor. She always has been. As an example of this behavior, look at the Legal Eagle situation. Blair has the habit of starting fights but will almost never publicly apologize if proven wrong. She will instead hide behind a private apology, and from my perspective act as though this makes everything better. After all, she would express to me that admitting error would only make her look stupid and weak. A fundamental misunderstanding on how an apology works, especially on the internet. This will be followed by her blocking people on Twitter, silencing her detractors through YouTube channel bans, deleting comments and putting her accounts on the down low to prevent interaction. For example, on Sad Milk she would blacklist former collaborators from being mentioned, but manually approve hateful comments towards them which in my opinion were specifically ones which instead praised her or the remaining members, including me. This is her MO. It has been for the 4 years that I've known her. It actually perfectly ties into how we first met and began to be on speaking terms in April of 2019. Sad Milk was very much like this. At the first sign of dissonance, her response was to have me confront OT and Click with this list of talking points in an attempt to show them just how wrong they were, which I accepted. This brings me to, well, me. What is missing from both Click and Wonder's threads is the fact that I acted as Blair's front runner. Anything Blair needed to say went through me first, essentially act as a spokesman. This was actually a common factor in our relationship. I would always act as a filter to keep her out of drama, or from saying things that would be seen as offensive or kindle for a larger fire. I stopped doing this in January. This does not excuse me from protecting her for this long, but it is the truth. I could take the approach and say I was manipulated, which perhaps I was, but I still knew that I was doing wrong. I always did, and it always hurt. It left a huge black mark on my spirit and my ability to feel comfortable in my own skin. With the exception of the clicks, the other tweet threads came out in April. Effectively, there is a gap of 1 month between Illuminaughtie's response to Wonderstruck and Oz Media. During that time, that is why she lost so many subs, because she took too long to get to this, to finally tackle it. Burying the head in the sand tactic doesn't work. Focusing on your content when your views go down doesn't help either. It was during that time as well more videos came out. Tommy C put out a 20-minute statement directly aimed at Illuminaughtii. It was very good. I'll link it down below. And it was arguably a very fair response. Illuminaughtie's response though, a tweet thread. Not as long as the others, but we'll get to that. Hey everyone, I'm fully aware of the recent false allegations that have surfaced. I want to take a moment to publicly state that I'm taking these allegations serially, and I am committed to rectifying this situation promptly and appropriately. I understand the concerns and potential impact that these false allegations have caused. My team and I are actively working behind the scenes to gather all relevant facts. I am committed to transparency and accountability throughout this process. Rest assured that I am taking decisive action to address the situation. I will provide updates and communicate any necessary actions as soon as possible. Thank you to those who are standing by me during this challenging time. I will not allow these false allegations to be weaponized as a way to silence my voice. There's some irony there, we'll get to it in a moment. I appreciate your patience and understanding during this challenging time. I am dedicated to upholding my channel's values and delivering on our commitments. I am confident that the truth will prevail. Sincerely, Blair Zon. Your tweets got sod all interaction. I just don't get it. I really don't. Was a sarcasm sign required? All this response needed next was, we wish you well in your future endeavors, and it would have been a perfect copy-cut paste of WWE's typical crap when they cut new wrestlers and old wrestlers. It was very official, very middle of the road, not giving too much of an opinion other than to say, everything said by what we have read through so far is a lie. As you can see, by the way, from this Social Blade image, she still lost 10,000 subs, so it didn't go down very well. So what was it that Illuminaughtii was doing? Well, taking accountability? No. Hi, I'm Wonder. Blair just sent me a cease and desist for speaking out against her abuse. Wonder made a video. Reply from the click. English isn't my first language, but this is an odd translation of taking accountability. Oz Media retweeted a tweet that I didn't include in the previous thread of theirs. Their original tweet was, Blair, I need you to know that you hurt me more than you realize. I know you're scanning this and having your team read over it, maybe even looking at sending a legal threat. Retweet, call me Nostradamus because hot damn. Underneath including the cease and desist sent to I'm Wonder. It's not a good look, is it? You want to be heard, but you don't want anyone else to be heard. You see the irony in that, right? When I mentioned it earlier? This isn't a good look for Iilluminaughtii in the slightest. It makes you look like a bitch. This could have been resolved behind closed doors. A simple discussion privately, but you have been shown to be a bully, and now you're using the legal system to bully detractors. Cease and desist? Wow. You put out a community post, by the way, it was the exact same thing as your Twitter thread. Yeah, I don't care how many likes you got, really don't. Mostly because the replies to it are annihilating you. You say transparency? What transparency is there in a cease and desist? Ya celibate.